Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I'm back with an episode of Start Before You're Ready with a very special guest that I feel like I might have strong-armed a little bit to be on today. But once we have this conversation, you're going to see why I wanted to have Beth Maier on the podcast. She is an original KBC student, meaning that she started back in 2009, but she left us for a pretty long time. But the best news is she came back and now she's going strong. So I just wanted to share a little bit about when she first started, because I didn't know Beth. My good friend Julie Kyle was in a book club, and she is like, I credit her so much for when I started my business, because she was like, my friend Kelly's starting this boot camp, you need to do it. And to her book club, which was all these like amazing women, and Beth was one of them. And they started with me, and before they started, I asked people to come to my house and do a one-on-one assessment with me. And that was my fitness background, was like, you don't just start working out with people, you should assess them first. I don't know if Beth did this or not, but when they would come, because sometimes they would like find a way around it, but my preference was that they met with me one-on-one before we started working out together. And they would come to my basement, and the first thing I would say is ask them why. What's your why? Why are you doing this? And so many of them would say, I'm turning 40 this year. I'm turning 40. I'm about to turn 40. I'm almost 40. My 40th birthday is ... And that was like so interesting to me, that there was this demographic of men and women, but specifically women, that had, most of these were moms of multiple children that were playing sports, that were doing all the things. And these moms probably took a little bit of break of taking care of themselves. And now they realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm about to turn 40. I better start worrying about me too. I put you in that camp. Is that fair, Beth?
Actually, no.
You don't know? Not at all?
No. I was already 41, and I've always worked out like my whole life.
Okay.
So I think I was probably in the camp of Julie Kyle said, oh, my friend is going to start a boot camp. And I was like, oh, I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I was actually going to say that. A lot of the people also were already doing other things, and they just wanted something different.
At that point, I think I was working out still at Gold's Gym.
Okay.
Actually, sure I was, because I worked out at Gold's Gym until Gold's Gym moved.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I was there. All right, Beth, let's talk about Beth. Tell us about you. Give us a little bit of information about you. I'm sure our community would love to know.
All right. So I am a wife and a mother of 3 kids. Our kids match up pretty well. I don't have a Cameron, but I have pretty much a Dalton, Brandon, and a Lindsay, except for I have boy, girl, boy. And before I had kids, I was in the real estate world. I was a settlement officer for a long time. And then when I had my first child, I was a title insurance auditor for an underwriter. So I did that, and I was a manager, and my boss said, come back to work part-time. You can bring the baby into work. You can work from home. Whatever you can do, we'll keep you. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't parent. I could not do anything at home. I couldn't work. It was terrible. I could not do both things. I have mad respect for people who can do both. So much respect. But I wasn't able to do that. So John and I talked.
I wouldn't have been able to do that too. I would not have been able to do that.
Yeah. We're like, okay, you know what? We'll just buckle down and you'll just stay home. And I was like, oh, yay. Because, that's always really what I wanted to be, was a stay-at-home mom, like a mom. So I was very happy about that. And then when Calvin was little, like in a baby backpack, I guess I was in a running club at this point, and there was a woman who was going out of town and asked if somebody could walk her dogs. And I was like, I could do that. So I put Calvin in the baby backpack, and I took care of her dogs. And he sometimes would drop his little passy with the dogs, and she'd come home and the dogs would have like the passy in its mouth. So it was really cute. So once Calvin was going into elementary school, full day elementary school, a friend of mine was moving out of the area to New Hampshire, and she asked me if I would take over her dog walking business. And I was like, I will not do weekend stuff. I will not do evenings. I'll only walk the dogs that can be walked while Calvin's at school. Because at that point, the big kids were playing sports and I didn't want to miss anything. So I did that. So I started that and I've been walking dogs ever since. So I love that.
Wow. So Calvin's Lindsay's age. So we're talking like 18, 19 years you've been doing this, the dog walking business, because you still have it.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I started when he was like little and in the baby backpack.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, let's talk about another business that you had that I was obsessed with. You and Missy made belts and you sold scout bags. And how did all that happen?
So this is so interesting. Another Julie Kyle connection. This is so interesting. I was at a Christmas party at her house and she lived next door to Missy. So I met Missy. We were both pregnant with Charlotte and Emily. They were only a couple months apart in age. So we became friends. And once they were a little bit, maybe in the age range of maybe 1. So they're starting to get hair. And, everybody put like the bows in and like the big things. And Missy and I are both from Maryland. So we weren't like really deep South big.
Yeah.
Foo-foo bows or anything like that. So she was like, I'm going to make these she just tied a knot in a piece of ribbon and then put it in Charlotte's hair. And I was like, that is the cutest thing I've ever seen. So we started there. Wow. And at that point, I was sewing ribbon to the bottom of burp cloths and giving that to everybody as gifts.
Oh, I had those. Somebody must have given me that as a gift.
It might have been Julie Kyle.
Yeah.
Because I was doing that. And then she was doing the bows. And then we got together with a neighbor behind us. Well, the person who moved into actually Julie Kyle's house, Ann Becker. And we were like, you know what? We're going to start a business. So we incorporated it. And the name was Cece. And it stood for Samantha, Elena, Emily, Charlotte, and Isabel. So it was our 5 girls' names. And then as we were getting ready to get started and we were incorporated and all of those things, Anne backed out. So then it was just me and Missy. And Missy is hands down one of the most creative people I know. And I'm pretty good worker.
And you're a workhorse.
Yeah. And she didn't know how to sew. So I taught her how to sew. And every time I was like, oh, we should do this. And she's like, I don't know about that. That's not a good idea. She was like, she had such forward thinking for knowing what was coming to be popular. So we did belts and we did hand towels. I still walk dogs sometimes and go to people's homes and I see our hand towels and I'm like, oh, that makes me happy. So we did that and that was awesome. And we did that for a long time and we never really made money, but we never went into debt or anything. Like once a year we would pay ourselves $1,000 each and that was it.
How? Even with the scalp bags?
But we always had the best belts and we had cute pillows and scalp bags.
Yeah, when you have quality items and you were very reasonable, but you probably always used them for your gifts and you always used them for, so I know how that goes. I say anyone in retail, if you are making money, you are a genius or you are ripping people off. It is like, I'm the same way at energy, like the energy store, it literally makes negative. It's just impossible. It's just when you have your waste and you have especially now, it's just impossible to make money, but it's fun. It is also fun to have like stuff on stock and branding and it's other things, but
yeah.
And
we did craft shows and people would be like, oh, I can do that myself. And I was like, okay, go ahead. By the time you order all of the material and you do it yourself, you have bought the belt that we just made. But whatever.
Yes. I love that. I love that. So you're still walking dogs. And John and you have been married for 29 years, which is amazing. Congratulations. Big one coming up. And you've always been athletic. Your kids are incredibly athletic. I know that for sure. Did our boys play lacrosse together or did they not overlap?
No, Matthew, he didn't really play lacrosse until high school.
Okay.
Actually, his freshman year in high school, he was like, well, I think I'm going to go out for the soccer team or the lacrosse team. And I was like, okay, these kids have been doing these things for a really long time. I don't know if that's a good idea. And you might want to try lacrosse over soccer because, playing soccer in high school, it's very difficult to make a soccer team. And he did it. He played lacrosse and he loved it.
It's amazing. He's great.
I mean,
He's a great athlete.
I still, every time he caught the ball, he'd be like running down the field. And I was like, oh God, don't drop it. Don't throw it. What are you going to do? But he was fast and he could pick up ground balls. Around.
Yep. Find your place. That is one of the things I actually really like about lacrosse is if you have you don't have to be the biggest, you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to find your place and that's your niche, whether it's I'm gritty, I'm going to get every ground ball, or if you're athletic, you can,
he was a short stick defensive midi and it was a perfect.
That's what Karen said. Yep.
Perfect place for him.
Perfect place for a great athlete that's gritty. That's the perfect place.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, good. Okay, let's talk about your journey we talked a little bit about when you started and then you left for a while. And was it just, you were just doing because you were a very devoted boot camper back in the day. And then what do you think made you stop?
I think possibly waking up in the mornings. I think it might have shifted a little bit when Calvin was going to school.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I was walking dogs, so I needed to
You needed to change your workout time. And
adjust my workout time. And I think at that point I went back to Gold's Gym more frequently.
Okay.
And I also did a little stretch where I was doing P90X. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I love P90X.
Yeah.
I love Tony.
So I did that. So I think it was a combination of that. And I also always liked to run, so I ran.
Yeah.
And I mean, when Emily hit kindergarten, also when Calvin was in the baby backpack, I was coaching lacrosse. I was one of the beginning coaches for girls lacrosse with Rich Hayden and Charlie Clay and Greg Rominski. Yeah, so I did that for a while. I don't know. I feel like I just was so busy. But I do remember, Kelly, while this was going on, I would go to... When you guys moved over to the Dairy Queen side of Ferris Teeter.
Here's another Dairy Queen story, guys.
I would be in Dairy Queen and I'm like, please don't let Kelly Young see me. Please don't let Kelly Young see me. But in my defense, sometimes I would run to Dairy Queen.
Oh, well, that's interesting. And how would you get home?
My family would meet me there.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, we picked a lot of people up at Dairy Queen. Okay, I don't care you left. The important thing is you came back. What would you say is the most valuable lesson that you've learned from working out with us?
I'd say that there are multiple things. And I think you tried to get me back for a while before I actually...
Oh, I'm sure I tried to get you back for a while if I was smart.
I do think that you're telling me that... Well, first of all, when I went in 2019, you're not going to remember this, I'm sure, but you had us do an in-body, and it was like me and 4 other people. And you're like, well, Beth is a perfect example of, it's a C. You don't want to be a C. That's skinny fat. And I was like,
I did not say that because I don't use the word. I know a lot of people say skinny fat. It's not one of my terms. I don't use it. I don't like it.
All right, you were like, you're a C. You don't want to be a C.
Yeah.
Because that means that you don't have enough muscle. You want to be a D.
Yeah.
You need to move that middle.
Said that.
you need to move that middle thing. And I was like, well, move the middle thing. And you're like, with weight training.
Yeah.
And
you need to get some muscle around those bones of yours is what I said.
So I still left. I still didn't join back really at that point.
I didn't convince you.
Yeah. I would say, as far as a lesson goes, that's it. The importance of strength training for your bone health and just overall health, quite honestly. And then the other thing that I've learned is about nutrition, because really, I mean, my nutrition was terrible.
You've shared that. And that's probably had something to do with your C as well. Because you can't be as active, and you've been active your entire life. Typically, someone that's athletic and active as you would do a little, and you're tall too, which actually helps with the in-body. Being tall is just an advantage with the in-body, period.
Yeah. And I also have big bones, which I think is also helpful.
Yeah. So usually people that are bigger boned do better on the in-body, but that's your nutrition played a big role in it. If you were, I know you've told me you were terrible in your nutrition.
Yeah. Really, really bad. I would eat 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day for lunch on the fluffy bread.
I don't think that's that bad.
It wasn't very
peanut butter and jelly than McDonald's.
Oh, well, I used to go from, gosh, I'm going to flashback. I'm going to totally, I think Debbie Wygand at one point called me Big Mac Beth.
Oh God. Okay. All right.
Okay, I used to go from the gym to McDonald's.
Okay.
Like I go to classic Gold's Gym and then go to McDonald's, but I don't do that anymore.
That's great.
I am very much, so much better now. So I think nutrition's been really helpful. And I think I've done a few of Amy's little things and I've learned so much.
Yeah. You have opened up your mind. We need to talk about that. You have really expanded as far as the way you think and what you're willing to consider. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk about that.
I don't know. I think, well, I've always kind of liked learning, and really walking dogs is not really learning much. Like I'm not really using my brain very much.
You're serving though, and you have a servant's heart, and you're serving when you walk dogs. So that's that.
Yep. Yeah. And I feel like when Matthew and Emily and even Calvin were in high school and they were doing NCL and YMSL and all of those things, I did a lot with those organizations. So that was kind of like using my brain a little bit. But as far as like my working out and entertaining anything with like my nutrition, that was just off the table because I was not looking to learn anything there. So I think not having those things, I've been like, well, I guess I need to learn other things, right? So I think that's probably really where that comes from.
Do you think naturally being tall and thin, I mean, you probably never had to worry about your weight. Do you think that made you less thoughtful about your nutrition? I mean, I know for me, all of my nutrition decisions early on were all based on trying to lose weight. So it wasn't like I was trying to be healthy. I was just trying to lose weight.
Okay, so that's interesting. So I have pretty much always been tall and thin until I went away to college my first semester. And then I gained in one semester the 15 pounds. Because I kind of stopped. I'd always been active. I played soccer for forever. And then when I stopped playing soccer, I played a little bit of basketball. I tried cross country. I turned into a cheerleader, which is, I'm sure, shocking. Yeah. Well, especially since I'm
not from a personality standpoint, because you cheer for everybody. You have you are one of the most considerate people I know when it comes to like lifting up your friends and thinking and saying nice things about other people. You find the best in everybody best. So I wouldn't say cheerleading is a shocker to me. I wouldn't say that.
Well, my flexibility now I've had my whole life, or the lack thereof, we should say. So I
okay, I got you.
Like I was a terrible cheerleader, but thankfully I grew up in Columbia, Maryland, and half of our cheerleading squad was Black, and we like did Run DMC and of these.
It was more athletic.
Things. Yes.
Okay.
It was, but I also was not like a gymnast or anything. I couldn't do any of that. But it was fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
I love that.
But when I went to college, I didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I played intramural field hockey, but that was like once a week or something. And I ate terribly and drank too much and didn't do any exercise. So I gained a bunch of weight, and then I failed out in one semester. And then when I came home, I was like, I've got to get this weight off of me. So I started running again. And then if the weather was bad, I would walk up and down my parents' basement stairs for like 20 minutes.
That takes a lot of self-motivation to do that.
And then once I dropped the weight, I just have kind of maintained where I am for forever. Like I could probably still wear pants that I had forever ago.
Yeah, that's how I picture you. I picture you as someone who never had to think about their weight, just because you've always been the same. You've gotten so much stronger. Your body composition has changed tremendously since coming back.
Yeah.
In 2021 or 2019,
yes,
whenever we think you came back.
I do think the other interesting thing is, though, I did have a shift in like having to be a little bit more mindful in what I was eating, probably approaching menopause. I think that I could tell that I couldn't eat ice cream at night anymore. So I have had to make some changes.
Well,
but
you are in incredible shape and you have come through a lot. And I think your resilience is really remarkable. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. So since coming back, you've had not one, but 2 hip surgeries. And I definitely want you to share that. And I want you to share the before too, before the hip surgeries, because I have a moment in class when I came up to you and I was trying to correct you and you got really upset. and you were like, Kelly, I can't do, like, you were like just so upset. And I felt so terrible because I, didn't really recognize, because I just think of you as so physically able and athletic. And it just was like, I thought you were just being stubborn. I'm like, you're just being stubborn. You're like, no, I'm not. I can't do that. And then 2 months later, she has double hip replacement. So I feel a little like an idiot. But you also are very proud. So you never really said like, hey, this kills. You did what worked for you, which is exactly what you should do. Exactly what you should do. But talk about a little bit about that, Beth.
I don't really know. Back in, I guess when Emily was in Israel in 2020, it was 2020, that the fall of 2020, my legs were bothering me then, but it never really occurred to me. I was like, I just walk too much. I don't stretch enough, all of those things. And then one of the dogs I was walking pulled me and I herniated a disc in my lower back. And it was in my L4, L5. So I had sciatica pain that was like crippling. Like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sit down. The only thing I could do was move, which was fine because, I walk. I walk dogs. So I was actually okay with that. And then I went to the doctor because I was like, I cannot continue to do this. This is like, I can't live like this. So they did an x-ray of my back. And at that point, he's like, I think you have a herniated disc, but your discs are very close together. So you have to go for an MRI. But he asked me, he said, your hips bother you? And I said, I don't know, probably. My legs are always messed up. But
you got a bit more of your legs than your hips.
So
maybe.
I had an L4, L5, I don't know what they call it. They shaved it. They got rid of the herniation. And then I was definitely a lot better, like a lot better. And then I always had one like huge varicose vein down my right leg. And every time I went to a doctor or anywhere, people would be like, does that bother you? And I was like, no, it doesn't bother me. And then my doctor said, well, are your legs fatigued? Are you tired? Like, are they sore? And I was like, yeah, they are. And she said, I want you to go see a vein doctor. So I went to see a vein doctor and he's like, you have almost no backflow in the one large vein that went all the way down my right leg. So he's like, I can strip it. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds fine. And then my legs will feel better. And then on the other leg, the vein in that leg, they just did like a radio thing, which was fine. Like there was like no pain with that. But let me tell you, having a vein stripped out of your leg is probably the most painful thing I've ever been through. But I mean, my scars started like in my groin area and went all the way down to my ankle. And it was like every 6 inches I had an incision. It was so awful. And then after it, I was like, I don't feel any better. And then you did the Summer Olympics. I don't know if you remember this, but you met with everybody before the Summer Olympics. And I said something about maybe I needed to like see a chiropractor or stretch or do something because my legs were bothering you. And you said to me, Beth, your body is too important for you to not pay attention to it. You have got to do something about that. And I was like, you're right. So I went to Fran. Yep. And at this point, I had determined that my pelvis was out of alignment. I was like, I just feel out of whack. So she was like, you are definitely out of whack. So she like adjusted me and then I go for a run and I trip and fall and I'm like out of alignment again. And she's like, can you please stop running? Like, because you are going to kill yourself. I'm like, you're probably right. So
she's giving me a lot of
in the wood.
Over the years.
Yeah. And then I think Jess did a post with Fortify with Chris Grivas and dry needling. And I was like, that's interesting. Maybe I should try that. So I went there and I tried dry needling. And at that point, he's like, your adductors are so tight. I've never seen anything like this. So he dry needled and that was pretty helpful. And then you had Viraj come to the studio and she did the pelvic floor thing. And I went to that and I was like, I don't really have pelvic floor problems. I had 3 C-sections. I don't have like the problems that people talk about. So after she had said something about what does that feel like? And I was like, every time at this stage, I was like, every time I did anything single leg and I would go up or down, it was like click, 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 click. And she's like, that clicking is not good. And I was like, okay. So then I talked to Chris Grievous about it. And this is something actually really nice about him. I said, I think I need to go to physical therapy. And he said, I think you're right. And they worked together on me. Like they communicated back and forth, which was really nice so that he could say what he did so that she would know where I was that day. So I did that for a little while. And let me tell you what, I know she talked about her shoes or shoe recommendations when she was on with you. She made me get new shoes and it totally changed my gait. I was like, I feel so much better. But she still couldn't get a lot of movement out of my legs. Like I still had no range of motion for anything. She sent me to a orthopedist and she said, I want to see what's going on with your hips so I can understand like what we're working with. So I went and he said, well, your left hip is bone on bone, should be replaced, and your right hip is bone on bone and you have bone spurs going in both directions. And he said, I was like, okay, well, I'm feeling pretty good right now. He asked me, he said, get up and walk for me. And I did. And he's like, I don't know how you're walking like that, but okay. And I was like, it's from that. And it was, I honestly, it's the shoes. I made the biggest difference. I know that sounds so crazy, but I think the shoes, plus Viraj gave me some breathing techniques that helped me realign, which were incredibly helpful. So I was feeling pretty good. I was like, I don't really need surgery. And he said, listen, this is the deal. If you don't have surgery on your right hip, you're going to end up with something worse because the bone spurs are just going to ruin the supporting bone structure. And I was like, okay. So I left and I came home and I told John and he's like, maybe you should just get a second opinion and see what another doctor says. So I went to DW's doctor and he said to me, well, what is your pain level? And I was like, I don't know. During the day, maybe a 3, at night, maybe a 7. And he said, okay. He said, well, this is the deal. I can help you with pain if the pain is really a problem. Like I can give you anti-inflammatories or I could give you a shot. And I was like, I've got to be honest with you. The thing that bothers me the most is my mobility. Like I can't do a proper squat. I can't lunge. I can't get up off the ground. Like a surrender. I was like, I still can't do a sit stand, but I'm determined that I will eventually be able to do that.
Well, you will. Yeah, you're still gaining muscle back. You weren't able to fire those muscles for, I think, a really long time.
I think so too. So he said, the only thing that's going to give you the mobility is a hip replacement. And I said, well, there has been a concern that my hip might only be good for 20 years. So in 20 years, I'm going to be, I don't even know how old I am.
You'll be in your
77, 78.
70s.
And I was like, oh, well, I don't really want a hip replacement. Like, who knows that? And
right. No, I've heard that logic before. They want you to hold off for as long as you can.
But he did not. He said, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Because you are young and healthy now, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. And the technology is different. Like, this hip might last you 30 years. And who's to say that with new hips, you're not going to be in great shape in 20 years? Like, he's like, you're only going to lose ground the longer you keep your current hips.
Such great advice, in my opinion.
So I came home and I said to John, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to do this. And he's 100% on board. I was like, maybe I can schedule it for over winter break. Like,
you and I know.
I'm like, okay. So I was like, the kids, Matthew and Emily, are home. They can walk dogs for me. I'd asked around. I'm like, how long does this take? Chris was like, oh, you're going to be back in 4 weeks if you do this. Everybody else was like, it takes. Yes, of course. I know. He was so encouraging.
Yeah, he was really encouraging. He said the best thing that he ever did, and he wanted everyone to get one.
I agree. And I feel like I'm definitely in.
You feel that way too. So does Andrew.
I am 100%. I feel like I should be like a joint replacement talk person because I don't know why anybody would wait since I've had it done. So I scheduled it, and I scheduled it for the beginning of January, and I was expecting to not be able to walk dogs for 6 to 8 weeks. I was like, okay, so in 2 weeks, I went back from my post-op, and he's like, okay, can you lift up your right leg? Because I did my right hip first. And I was like, barely able to move it, like maybe 2 inches up from a sitting position to like lift it. And he's like, okay, you can start driving, and you can go to PT. And I was like, okay. And from there on, it was like super fast. And when I was at the appointment, I was like, I can't wait to get the other hip done now, because I didn't actually realize how much pain I had until it was gone. And then I was like, wow, I really did have a lot of pain. He's like, well, the soonest we could do it would be 8 weeks. And I was like, 8 weeks? I can't do it in 8 weeks. I'm talking like maybe May, after I get Calvin home from college, May, June. And then as I went through PT, and I think I texted you this, I was like maybe 5 weeks post, and I was like, I want to get the other hip done. If I can get it done at this exact window, I can be 8 weeks post-op on my second hip and drive down and pick Calvin up from college.
Who goes to Auburn, by the way? Who goes to Auburn?
And I was
it's
like,
not like he goes to Tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, I mean,
it's a long drive.
That's a long drive. And they're like, you have to get out of the car every 2 hours and walk around a little bit. I'm like, oh gosh, it's going to take me forever to get there, but it's fine. It's totally worth it. I was like, okay, so if it's available, I'm going to do it. And it was available. And I was like, okay, sign me up.
But Beth, let's, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I don't think they would have done both hips on you unless you were so strong and physically able and determined. They're not gonna take your other hip out unless they were really confident that you were healing really well and that your athleticism and your lifelong devotion to fitness probably helped you have, because you're the only person I know. That's not true, but I think it's unusual to let somebody do back-to-back surgeries like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as unusual as you think. I think when people need to, I think sometimes they will do that. Good. Yeah. So,
like you said, so much has changed. I mean, looking at GW, whatever number of years that was, we'll call it 15. It was a significant, and she had both hips. What she went through and like what you and Andrew went through is night and day. Like she had a much, much, much harder recovery. It's just the surgery was different.
Yeah, I think that the old surgery was much harder to recover from the surgery that they're doing now.
Yeah. No, I know. They say hips one of the best. I know.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's fast forward a little bit. Your second surgery was in May. You came back March. In between. March.
Yeah.
March. Okay, but let's first thing, I think this was your doctor. If it wasn't, it was another doctor, but I still want to give this doctor a shout out. Told you to get in the best shape of your life before your surgery, right? Keep working out right up until the day you have your surgery. And you absolutely did. You literally worked out Tuesday and had the surgery on Wednesday, call it. Or I think you had surgery on Monday
I had it on a Wednesday.
Yes. So, I mean, that advice is significant to me. So it's like, you're not like waiting for the surgery. You are preparing for the surgery. You are getting as strong as possible. And Andrew said that to me after he had, because I was like a nervous wreck and I don't know how John felt, but like I got stuff to do. I can't wait. I was just like, am I going to be like serving him every meal, waiting on him hand and foot? Like what's happening here? And literally the day he got home, he went up the stairs and I had said to him, well, how are you going to do this? He's like, I think I'm strong enough that I'll be able to use my upper body. And he was absolutely right. He could use his, but if he was not a strong man, if he wasn't a 50-year-old strong man, or in your case, a 50-something-year-old strong woman, it's going to be a little different, So keeping your strength is so important for so many reasons.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I was pretty terrified that I was going to do something to screw it up because the doctor cautioned me so much. He's like, do not think that just because you're feeling better, you can go out for a mile walk and then you can do 3 miles and do not push it. He's like, wear your watch, add a couple hundred steps every day, take it slow. But if you try to do it too fast, you can end up with tendon damage. And then that's like really difficult. So, I followed the directions. I was so careful about everything. I didn't run or jump until I was 4 months post-op on my second hip, which was like July 4th. Like that's when I started running.
Yeah. Which was interesting because they told Andrew he could. She's like, not like ongoing. He's like, but if like, a drill has a little running in it, you're fine. But he didn't want him to go run a mile. No, he just said like,
I'm not sure my doctor trusted me.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm sure Andrew wasn't chomping at the bit to get back to her house like you were.
You can run and jump now, but it has to be like within reason. I I don't think he really trusted me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Doctors are very, I mean, some doctors are very, they know who they need to like slow down and who they need to speed up. And I'm sure you were a slow down candidate. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But okay, so now we're in July, 2 hip surgeries this year. I don't notice, Amy, you were in my class this morning. We're recording this on Tuesday morning. She was in my 7:30 class. I didn't notice you not doing anything. And I know for you being able to have proper mechanics in your lifts and your squats, I know that is like, makes you so, so happy. And I want you to speak to that a little bit, Beth.
Okay. So since my hip surgeries, like people are like, I can't believe how well you're doing. I'm like, I can't believe how much better I feel. Like it is incredible how much better I feel. Like working out for my hips, every workout, I'm like, come on, legs, this is going to suck. I know you can do this. I mean, it was the whole time, the whole workout, every workout, always like, and now I'm like, I can do that. I mean, I haven't taken many of Kristen Bridger's classes lately, but she's probably going to be like, oh, look, you can do that now. Because I used to be like, I can't do that. She's like, I know.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And even Julie Kelly.
She's going to say it just like that little peppy,
yeah.
Look at you can do that now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great, Beth. I'm so happy that you had the surgery, and I'm so glad that you're willing to share all of that. That's a lot. I think it's really interesting. I don't want to pretend to understand it all, but I do think the vein was masking some of your, I think that there was multiple things going on, the disc, the vein, and you didn't even know about the hip because you didn't have a chance to, because other things were like getting in the way, and you just muscled your way through it like any workhorse would do. And I also am glad that you said about, because I really feel this way, and I do have strong conversations with our clients all the time about this, and I was not always like this myself, but now if it's like I'm going to the doctor just thinking about having an issue, like I do not wait. I do not wait until something is broken, because there is a solution, and there's some adjustment that can be made, or there's something. And like all the people that you mentioned are, I feel so fortunate. I don't know your hip doctor, but I have Dr. Goodwin and, Chris and Fran and now Viraj, and it's like also massage therapists and all, like that's my most important thing, right? I don't need one item in the world. I don't care about any possession. The thing that I need the most is this body to work for me, because mentally I like to move, right? It's just part of our DNA, both of us, I believe. We don't do well sitting. We have that conversation off camera that we like to, it's very hard to sit. And that's just how God made us, and it's not right or wrong. It's just how we are. So yeah, I protect it. And I'm glad that you have that mindset now, and you have those resources, and that you can pass that on to other people, because the body is an amazing thing. The body will fix itself, but not if too many things aren't working at once. Then it's just not going to know what to do. That's when we need intervention, right? We need help. So I'm glad that you got it. And I'm glad that you shared all the different paths that you had to go to. I'm glad that you shared about getting a second opinion with your hip. I think that gave you more confidence. And, they will say, oh, you're too young. They told Andrew that for a while. They said, you're too young, lose weight, stretch. You lose weight, stretch. And then it was hard for him to lose weight because he couldn't really work out.
You're mechanically not able to do things. Like it doesn't make sense.
I don't think pain should be I think that's kind of the lesson there. Pain shouldn't be, because you were a 3, but you were probably really a 9. You just always been it. So you thought you were a 3, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, after I had the hip replaced, I was like, you know what? It actually was. I think I was in a decent amount of pain. Because now I know what it's like to have no pain, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you're part of this community, Beth. I do want to give a little shout out to you, because you're very vocal in a great way. You just appreciate everything. I'm sure part of it is having the journey that you've been on with your body, and, having a new appreciation for your health and your fitness and your movement. And also just caring about other people, just the way you, I don't know, you just always look out for your friends. I'm going to use our summer camp. So we this summer had the idea of, we usually do some kind of accountability program, some kind of a summer accountability program. And like Beth mentioned before, the Summer Olympics, sometimes it was like camp, sometimes, but this year we wanted to do camps, but we wanted to make them really specific. It's like, let's do a camp that will speak to these people and these people. And then if they want to sign up for a camp, they can. If they don't, they don't. It's no big deal. We made some free, we did some free programming and we did some cost programming, and Beth signed up for all of them. Which I was like, but not only that, one of them you signed up for just to get somebody else to sign up for it, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Talk about that a little bit, Beth.
Actually, I don't know are you referring to Julie Collins?
Yes, of course, yeah. Julie.
Okay, because I also got Pam Periton to sign up for Zenergy.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. She's doing so good.
I know she's doing so good, but I was so worried about her when her knee was bothering her. And she talks about like the breathing and the sound and all of those things. Like that is kind of her mojo. Huh. And I was like, you have to do this. You're going to love this. And she's like, I'm definitely doing that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. But I made Julie Kellen sign up for all 3 camps also.
So Julie is a pilot. If anybody remembers when I went to Italy for my 25th wedding anniversary, on the way home from this amazing trip, Andrew and I had never had a trip like this in our entire lives. It was like the most incredible trip. Julie had told the pilot to come get her friend to come get us and to get us in the pilot seats to fly the plane home. And Andrew, like still to this day, out of our amazing like week in Italy, that was his favorite part. Yeah, Julie was so cute. I had an experience on the way there that was less good. It was not even that bad. But Julie and I were texting, and I told her about it, and she was mad because this steward, I'd never flown like that before, and I didn't understand it. I didn't know I just didn't understand it, and I was like kind of stupid, and she made me feel really stupid, and like I didn't belong there, and I just kind of told Julie that, and Julie did not like it. So she put on her, so she was like,
her captain hat, and she was like, no.
She put on her captain's hat, and she took care of the situation and made Andrew and I feel like really good.
Aww.
So I'm sorry. I don't know how we even got on that. Oh, we're talking about Julie. Okay. So Julie travels a ton, and it's weird. Beth and I were talking offline about it. We have no idea how she does it. Right now she's traveling to China, right?
No, Japan.
Well, okay. Japan. That's so much on your system. And then she's also very health conscious, and she wants to work out, and she cares, and she's got this job that makes it very hard.
Yeah. So, and her layover in Japan, she arrives on one day and then leaves at the same time the next day. Like her layover is 24 hours. That is crazy.
Yep.
I was like, whew. So her body never really adjusts, I don't think, to...
No. Or it does. Like, her normal is her normal. Yeah. Like, you and I would be like, but she just does it. She's gotten off a plane and come to class before. Yeah. I mean, I've done it too, but she's definitely, like, trained herself. Okay, so you got Julie. Now talk about the camps. You did the hip and ab challenge with me, which was fun. That was just like a 10-day challenge, right? Or maybe it was 21. Might have been 21. Yeah, 5-minute challenge every day. You were all in. You said what'd you give yourself for that challenge? I said score yourself from 1 to 10. 7.
I had to double up and even triple up.
But you doubled up.
Yeah.
I think that's a 10, as long as you get it done. I'm a really easy grader. I'm just happy if you're getting it done. I'm happy if you finish. If you finish, honestly, it's an 8 right away if you finish. If you start and finish something, to me, that's an 8 right away. You finish. You got to the end. Because a lot of people fall off. 21 days doesn't seem like a long time, but it is. And what happens is they fall off one day and then they stop. And that's why I make such a big deal about like If you miss a couple days, great, no problem. Just make it up. Just stay in it. Just stay in it. Rather than saying, oh, you missed, you're out. So, okay, the ab challenge, which was no big deal for you. That's not like that's not outside your comfort zone. We did use the hip band a lot in it. I'm curious if you felt like that was valuable.
I love that. Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
great. Except for my band at home was so tight, I could like barely move it. And Emily told me, she's like, there's another one in the basement that works a little bit better. So after like the first week, I switched to the other hip band and it was much more helpful.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so then now you're doing Camp Adventure and Zenergy Reset.
Yes.
Right? Okay, talk about Camp Adventure first.
Okay, so Camp Adventure is definitely more up my alley than the Zenergy Reset.
Yes.
Zenergy Reset is like really stretching me. But the Camp Adventure, I figured was going to be really good for me, and I thought it would be really good for Julie because she's kind of focusing on like habit tracking and things that you don't have to go to Energy for. You can get it done wherever you are. And I was like, so that's perfect for Julie because she can take it wherever she's going. So that's fun. I really like it.
And Lori is so fun. Her energy is so great.
She has great energy.
It's just good to get a little Lori Molnar in you every day.
Yeah. So she gives us like, she seems to be adding on to all of our habits. Like it's not. Yeah.
She's so excited about it, by the way. It just lights her up.
She's excited.
So excited about it, which makes me so excited.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of fun. It's infectious. I mean, it's really nice.
It's infectious. That's a great word. Yeah.
So that's been fun. I like that. Last week, I think I told you, I told you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of crossed over with Zenergy, which I thought was so interesting without the two of them talking.
I know. We've talked about that a lot. It's crazy how much it's overlapped.
So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is and isn't. But okay, so you were totally out of your comfort zone with the Zenergy Reset. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so I was like, Pam has been talking about, because we've driven back and forth to Auburn and spent time together, like long periods of time where you get to spend more time with people, which is kind of nice. And I think on our way to move the boys down to Auburn, it was just the two of us on our way there. And she was talking about like sound bath. She was doing the sound bath yoga at that point. And she was talking about breathing and how it's so good for your mental health and all of these things. Like you can control all of these things. It's like, that's kind of interesting. Like it piqued my interest, but not that much. And then when that came out, I was like, I am a little curious about it. So it's like a curiosity. It's not like, oh, this is my thing, because you know me, it's not really my thing. Like the fact that Gretchen's running it makes complete sense, right? She's so zen, and I think Meg Phillips seems like she's right in there, and I'm not. But I have learned a lot, and I do find it very interesting. And I think probably my biggest takeaways from that so far are, I think the colors and the stones are interesting. And then I also, one of the things I really wanted to do was the breathing, but I haven't been able to do any of the breathing.
Even in classes, when Meg and Gloria do it in yoga class, I can do it. I agree. I can't do it on my own.
Okay. I haven't been to yoga class. So I probably should go to yoga class.
Yeah. They've been incorporating every week. They've been incorporating the breathing, the music, some of the poses. Yeah. And that's really helped me because I'm not good on my own. I'm not great on my own.
That's my problem. I'm not either.
I need a guide. So that's been help. I mean, I read all the Gretchen's things and I find them very valuable. And I've found, and I think you and I mentioned this to each other, like, I would just do stuff before I knew it, and then I'd be all happy about it. It's like the silliest thing. Like this morning, I was putting away my laundry, and I didn't know the chakra this week. I didn't know his throat. I didn't know the color was blue. And I put away, I had 2 blue dresses that I washed, just like casual dresses, like sports dresses. I was like, oh my gosh, I wore blue Saturday and Sunday, and I basically never wear blue. Like, it was so weird. And then on Monday morning, I put on a blue shirt, and I didn't know. And then I read after class, I read the PDF, and I was like, Oh my gosh, I'm already doing so much of this week. It's like just aligned.
Yeah, it's interesting because actually I noticed at class yesterday morning, what did I go to? I went to a mashup. Almost everybody was wearing a blue shirt. It was so interesting. I was like, huh.
Yeah, and they're not doing, mashup people aren't doing, I mean, maybe a few of them are, but yeah.
I don't.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so
You
either.
just more aware. It's the thing. I mean, it's like anything. It's just an awareness and it's a validation. I don't really know why I like it. So I just love it. I'm just finding it very valuable and interesting and I'm getting excited. And that's what I saw you do, Beth, in our group.
I like the food stuff also.
Yes.
I think that's also very interesting.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm finding a lot of it very interesting. But I did really think I was going to be the most into the breathing. But honestly, I think I posted in there once, like, I did try the breathing, the first one. Did you try that one? It was like breathe in for 8, hold it for like 12 or something. It was like the hardest
time
one.
holding it. That's
okay. I tried that while I was walking a dog. I was like, okay, this is not going to work.
Yeah, I feel like my head's going to blow off. Yeah. But okay, this is the one that I think that you've seen and I've seen too, nature. Like that's been like knocking at me. Like the things, whatever's happening that week, I like, it's just, I don't feel like I'm forcing it. It's just happening, but it's just because I'm noticing it.
I agree. But the other thing that was so interesting is last week with the smoke.
Oh.
Did you see any sunrises or sunsets?
No.
They were like soft.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things was like a soft sunrise or a soft sunset. And I was like, this is so
yeah, I did read that. Yeah.
I didn't even put it in there. Maybe somebody else noticed it, but I noticed it when I was out. I was like,
no, it said a pink sun too.
Yeah.
And of course we had a pink sun.
Yeah.
I was like at Run Club, I was like, look at the moon. They're like, that's the sun. What? I'm like, oh yeah, the sun. Because it was 5:45 in the morning. Or 7 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, well, I'm so proud of you for taking yourself outside of your comfort zone, for doing this podcast. You're about to go on a big trip. I imagine your trip's going to have a lot of walking. You need to work on keeping your inflammation down. Even though you're far from post-op, you still need to work on keeping that inflammation down. But yes, you're a great example of being a boomerang, somebody that, was gone for a while and came back. Our arms are always open. You're a great friend, Beth. You are really you're always looking out for other people. You have a servant's heart. You've helped me many a times. Just most recently, I have all these amazing Dynamax balls that I'm ready to throw away because they look so terrible. And Beth thinks she did a bad job. She did an amazing job. Her and Emily sewed them all up and they're incredible. So I don't know. I just really appreciate who you are, the way you live, the way you help other people, the way you care about other people. You're just chill and cool and awesome. And I'm glad you're part of KBC.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad I'm part of KBC. And I'm so glad that you guys have that welcoming heart to bring back your boomerang people. Because I think, quite honestly, a lot of people leave and they're like, I don't know if I can go back. But if you're hearing this, you can go back. And if you're listening to this and you haven't started yet, because I do know some people who listen who haven't started, you should join. Like, just bite the billet. You don't have to be.
And we'll take good care of you. And we'll meet you where you're at. Start with yoga or start with whatever speaks to you the most. If you like running, start with Run Club. If you like lifting, start with strength. Start with what you like. Don't try to push yourself. And then we'll get you doing Zenergy Reset. Yeah, right?
Yep.
We're not trying to make you something you're not. Just give us a little time.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a better version of who you are.
That's right. And being growth minded. And I think that's really important at every stage of life, but especially the stage that we're in where we want to open our mind and we have more time, we have more capacity. And it feels really good. And it feels great to be a part of something bigger than yourself. Awesome. Thank you so much, Beth, and have the best trip. We can't wait to hear about it.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.